Hello again. This is Nick Roach, and this evening I'm going to entitle this talk The Third Way. The Third Way. Now you see, in everyday life, in our civilization anyway, in the Western world, the way we deal with our thinking mind and the imagination and the problems and the emotion is we do one of two things. When we have an upsetting problem or situation in our lives, the emotion comes up, and usually we go into it in the imagination. We think about the problem, remember it, worry about it, regurgitate it over and over and over in our minds, reliving it and reliving it, maybe with different scenarios attached to it. Just go into it, and the emotion gets bigger and bigger, and it all becomes their own little world, engulfs us. Or that's too painful, so instead of that we distract ourselves, think about something else, go and do something else to take our mind off it. That is the usual way to deal with a difficult situation. But there is a third way. A way that does not involve reliving the problem over and over and over again. And one that does not involve avoiding it. And that is simply facing it. Consciously facing it. I can hear one of the geese. I'm not sure it's flying past, but I can hear it there. So consciously facing it. When you've got a problem and the emotion comes up, instead of going into the problem and thinking about it unconsciously and reliving it, one holds it in the mind, holds the knowledge of the problem, and feels the emotion squirming, but does not go into it in the imagination. Hold on to the awareness of the breathing and the body, where you're aware that you exist. Hold on to that, which acts as an anchor and holds the mind and the awareness still. So you're aware of your body and feel the emotion squirming, and you'll know what the problem is because it's connected to that emotion. You'll feel it squirming and hold it. Now you'll see this is not going into it in imagination, but it's also not avoiding it, because you're holding it. All the time you're doing this, you're also looking at any action practically that needs to be taken. So we're also doing one step beyond the thinking and imagining, going around in circles, and the avoiding it totally. We're looking practically at what we can do. Is there any action we can do to address the problem in the physical world at any time? And the amazing thing is, as you're dissolving the emotion, as you're holding it still like this, the emotion is being dissolved, it's being made conscious, the energy, and it can release some information, some knowledge of what action is actually the best, most appropriate at this time. It might be none, there might not be any, but if you hold it and dissolve the emotion, you might see a solution. Wow, I've got to ring that, do that, ring that person, look that up, go and buy that, go there. Why didn't I think of that before? It's because it was covered up by all the emotion, all the unconscious energy, and it wasn't right that you saw it at that time. But if you stay conscious, you're dissolving the emotion, and you're going straight through the energy, the unconscious energy, to bring yourself back to being aware. You're dissolving the problem, dissolving the emotion, and in the end of it, you have no problem. So this is not merry-go-round thinking, and this is not avoiding the problem, think about something else. And you can see that, I hope. It's holding the knowledge of the problem and feeling the emotion, the disturbance, and holding it and staying with it until the emotion, the feeling, has gone. That's it. That is the third way. It's extremely simple. Takes a bit of effort, especially if you've never done it before. But it's amazing to see it work. And I do ask you to try it, because it will, if you do it, transform your life. Never again will you be at the mercy of your thoughts and the feelings, the emotions going all the time. And never again will you have to go off and do something else, try and take your mind off the problem, because you'll be going through the energy, through the emotion, making it conscious. You're becoming more conscious and more aware with every time it happens, rather than becoming an emotion, more and more and more an emotional creature every day of your life. When you have more problems and more worries, year after year, the emotion builds up and accumulates. This stops it dead, and it starts working the other way. You start dissolving the emotion, reclaiming the energy, the emotional energy that's stored in the psyche. You start reclaiming that simply by the third way. Holding it, staying with it, and dissolving it, working through it consciously. Give it a go. Thank you.